Red flags when purchasing a home. Sometimes it can be really easy to let something cosmetic or even to let your ego get in between you and a really good deal. Don't let that happen. If there is a solid equity position you're going to be starting off at, that can be a great opportunity. And sometimes when purchasing a home, it can get personal and you get caught up in things. Oh, we want that carpeting replaced, or we want something repainted, which you might be able to get done for pennies on the dollar. Today, I just want to address some red flags that we don't want to ignore when purchasing a home. And this can apply to those of you who have purchased multiple homes, or if it's your first time buying a home. Sometimes these things can be overlooked and missed. I did a previous video on steps that you should be taking and mistakes that a lot of people make when purchasing a home, steps that are skipped. I'm going to link that below in the description, and it should be in the upper right hand corner right now. But when you get a home inspection, especially if it's your first time looking at a home inspection, it can be very overwhelming and even intimidating, because that inspector's job is to pick that home apart. Their job is to find every little thing that may be a concern, no matter how big or small. And a good inspector is not only going to document all of those things, but then they'll probably go over it with you and say, hey, look, we've mentioned all of these things, but here are my major concerns. And what I always tell people is that, when we initially get that inspection, usually it's going to be immediately after getting into contract. You're going to want to jump on getting that inspection. And although it's not a lender requirement, you don't have to get the inspection. It's highly recommended. I would never recommend purchasing a home without getting that inspection, because it can save you thousands of dollars in the long run, understanding the bones of the home, what's going on. Because some of those things, if you don't have a good inspector looking at the home, you could have something wrong and it can go missed for many years before it becomes an issue that you do recognize. And at that point, it might be too late and result in thousands of dollars needed in repairs to remedy the issue. Always, always, always get an inspection. That being said, again, that inspection report can be very intimidating, because it's going to be a lot of things. Even on a brand new home, there's sometimes going to be many things listed on that report. But some things that I would recommend really focusing on are going to be your roof, your foundation, your HVAC, your heating, your AC, your plumbing, and your electrical work. And rule of thumb, what I'll always do is, after that inspection is done, when we get into the purchasing process, if we get into contract, you get the inspection done, I'll follow up, ask you how it went. And if there are some things that you're concerned with, we always want to try to differentiate the difference between a concern and a deal breaker, right? A concern, that's something you'd love to have fixed, and you might try to negotiate, whether it be, hey, we want this fixed, or we want additional seller concessions to make up for this issue, versus, hey, this is the problem. If this is not fixed, we're gonna back out of this deal. And that goes hand in hand with your option period. These are things that we want to make sure we're getting addressed and remedied within that option time frame. But that's what I'll do when I follow up. I'll ask you how the inspection went. Are there any major concerns? And sometimes, again, it can be confusing. Rule of thumb is I would always ask the agent and or the inspector if there's any confusion as to how important or how much of a problem an issue might be. You want to ask them, hey, do you think that this is something that might pop up on the appraisal, right? Because from a lending perspective, we don't want to see the inspection, but we are 9 out of 10 times going to require an appraisal. And if the appraiser brings up an issue, then we may have a problem, because then underwriting is going to turn around and say, oh, we need to look further into this. I'll give you an example. If, let's say, the appraiser's walking through the home and they see some, what appears to be, I don't know, sawdust or particles of wood, they might take a picture and mention that, and then underwriting is going to say, oh, we need a pest inspector out there, we might have a termite issue, right? Or if they see maybe some rotted wood on the exterior of a home, they may take a picture of that, then we might need to have that addressed. We always want to try to differentiate between a major issue that needs to be addressed prior to sending an appraiser out there versus issue that you might be okay with but would like to negotiate to better your pricing or seller concessions on. But those lines of communication need to stay open between myself as your mortgage broker, your realtor, and the sellers. That way we're not spinning our wheels working on something that might need additional remedying, right? So I hope this helps. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. Do me a huge favor. I'm trying to focus on getting you guys valuable information. So if you could like this video, share it with someone that it might be helpful towards. And if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I hope everybody has a great day.